Psycholinguistic Language Acquisition by Devitri Dewi Gultom. What is language acquisition? Language acquisition is a process which can take place at any period of one's life. In the sense of first language acquisition, however, it refers to the acquisition or unconscious learning, one of native language or languages in the case of bilingual, during the first 6 or 7 years one's life, roughly from birth to the time one starts school. Acquisition is carried out in the first years of childhood and leads to unconscious knowledge of one native language, which is practically indelible. Note that acquisition has nothing to do with intelligence. For the example, children of different degrees of intelligence all go through the same process of acquiring their native language. First language acquisition. This is the acquisition of the mother tongue. Chronology is the important here, or see below. The degree of competence acquired may vary from individual to individual and may be checked by later switching to another language. Note that language acquisition is largely independent of intelligence, although individuals can and do differ in their mastery of open classes such as vocabulary. The second is bi and multilingualism. This is acquisition of 2 or more languages from birth or at least together in early childhood. The ideal situation where all languages are equally represented in the child's surroundings and the child has an impartial relationship to each is hardly to be found in reality, so that of 2 or more languages, one is bound to be dominant. Second language acquisition. This is the acquisition of a second language after the mother tongue has been acquired. It usually refers to acquisition which begins after puberty, typically adult language acquisition, sometimes replaced by the term further language acquisition. Condition of acquisition. First, natural. This is characterized by continuous exposure to language data. This data is not ordered, or the child learner is exposed to the performance of adult speakers of the language he or she is acquiring. There is little, if any, feedback to acquire with regard to this intake. Note that child is not corrected as often by his or her mother as one might imagine. Self-correction is most common but not immediate due to 2 factors. Most broadly speaking, because of lack communication, or here immediately correction may take place. And secondly, by consistently hearing correct usage on the part of the mother, the child eventually drops his or her incorrect form, which, while perhaps communicatively effective, are grammatically wrong. It is also true that children do not learn language just from the mother. If siblings are present, then they too form a source of input from the child, and siblings do not correct others of simplify their language for the younger ones among them. Language acquisition is the process whereby children learn their native language. It consists of abstracting structural information from the language they hear around them and internalizing this information for later use. This conception of language acquisition can explain why one can produce a theoretically unlimited set of sentences in one's native language. That's all about language acquisition of psycholinguistics for final exam. Thank you.